It's time to preview this NFL Week 4 matchup with the Miami Dolphins and Tennessee Titans as Miami welcomes the Titans into Miami for this Monday Night Football game. Dolphins are currently 1-point favorites. The over-under quite low at 36.5. And I'll give you my full score prediction at the end of today's show, so stick around for that, but I do expect it to go under. And as we're filming this on an early Friday morning, we still do not have a starting quarterback officially announced from Mike McDaniel. He said that Thompson has a pretty severe rib injury. Huntley is progressing, and Tim Boyle really not in the mix like that. But many people, including myself, expect it to be Tyler Huntley starting for Miami on Monday Night Football, the player they signed off of the Ravens practice squad just a couple weeks ago. And, well, I'm not the only one that thinks that, because people that are in building around this team also believe he will be starting. Barry Jackson said the collective view in our Dolphins media room here in Miami Gardens is that Tyler Huntley is the favorite to start on Monday, unless the coaches don't like what they see in terms of the grasp of the offense over the next couple of days, over the weekend. But I am going to be treating this game like Tyler Huntley is the starting quarterback, because he should be, and I think that's where things are headed. If you want the Dolphins to win to get back to 500, go 2-2 through 4 games and win at home against the Tennessee Titans, hit that thumbs up icon. Don't jinx it. Let's get 500 likes to try to guarantee a win for Miami this upcoming Monday. I know who does like the video and who doesn't. Let me make sure your name isn't on the naughty list. Let's get to the injury report for both squads now before we get into my keys of victory. And the Dolphins injury report initially on Thursday is intriguing. Kendall Fuller and Terron Armstead are both DNP, still in concussion protocol. You have to keep your eye on them, because if they are still in concussion protocol 2 days from now on Saturday, they are likely not going to be playing in this game. But if they're able to get out of it and practice today later on, then I think they should be able to go. David Long Jr. was a DNP with a hamstring injury. Siran Neal was a DNP. Storm Duck was limited. Malik Washington was limited. I, by the way, believe Malik Washington's going to play in this game, because this would be the 4th game he misses. And if he was going to miss 4 games, well, they should have put him on IR. So I expect Malik to play this upcoming Monday. Skylar Thompson was limited with that ribs injury. And then Raheem Mostert, the chest injury, is limited. We'll see if he ultimately makes his return after missing the past 2 weeks. For Tennessee, couple key names here. Amani Hooker, safety, was limited with an injury. Jeffrey Simmons, interesting here, was a DNP. We'll keep an eye out for him, the best player on that Tennessee Titans defense. There was also a couple key players, L'Jarius Sneed and DeAndre Hopkins, who were DNP on the initial injury report, but that was because of rest. And then Chidobe Awuzie, might have botched that last name, but he was a DNP as well for the Tennessee Titans. We'll keep an eye for Jeffrey Simmons, though. That one is the most important one to note here. All right, let's get into the keys to victory now for Miami, and we'll start with this one. Run the dang ball. If you don't know what I'm quoting The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock and Michael Orr back in the day. Enough with the trick plays, Bert. Run the dang ball. And this has been something Miami has had to get back to, because they've actually been effective running the football after the Week 1 game against Jacksonville. They were effective against Seattle, and they were relatively effective against Buffalo as well. And you have to feed your top back, Devon Achane, who's having a breakout season for the Miami Dolphins. Through 3 weeks, he has 323 scrimmage yards. That is 7th best in the National Football League. Only 150 on the ground, 173 through the air, but either way, he's been extremely good in both aspects. And I'd like to see Achane get more in the running game, because, well, Tennessee doesn't have the best rush defense. And you'd think they would with Jeffrey Simmons, but they just simply have not. They have the 20th ranked run defense in the National Football League, giving up an average of 124.3 yards per game on the ground. And if you want Miami to win this game, I think that's how you're going to have to win it. I expect Huntley to be the starting quarterback, like I mentioned. Well, if that is the case, then you have to have an offensive game plan that complements him and puts him in the best seat to succeed, and running the football will do that, because then you can do the play option and some more RPOs, which is where Huntley really thrives as a quarterback, which you've seen as he has 3 career wins as starter for the Baltimore Ravens. But the numbers actually go a little bit deeper than that for Miami. They've had a lot of success running in between the tackles, which is something that might catch us by surprise here at Dolphins today, considering we've talked a lot about how Robert Jones, Liam Eichenberg, and Aaron Brewer aren't that good. But Brewer actually has been solid, by the way, 7th ranked seventh highest graded center in the National Football League according to PFF. And Miami is averaging 4.6 yards per carry on rushes up the middle. That's 13th in the NFL. Shockingly, they are very bad in their traditional zone running scheme. When they run to the ends of the tackles on end arounds, tosses, or stretch zones, left to right, doesn't matter. They're ranked 24th, 22nd, 20th, and 23rd. They have not been effective running the football on the perimeter, which means, hey, let's go head first. Let's run behind Brewer, Eichenberg, and Robert Jones because they've actually been pretty effective, and let's continue to run the football. Who you got in this game? We're going to talk more about more keys to victory and stuff coming up in just a second, but let me know who you got. Type MIA for the Fins, type TEN for the Titans. You have to also set up your offense, and this was a key to victory last week against Seattle, and I actually think Miami did that. Their starting field position on average was relatively good, and they even started a possession at the opponent 4-yard line. The offense has to do a better job of capitalizing and getting in the end zone, which I believe they could do if they have Tyler Huntley at quarterback, which is expected, as I keep on mentioning throughout today's show, but there will be opportunities to turn the Tennessee Titans over. They did it twice against Seattle. 2 interceptions, one by Kader Kohou, one by Zach Sieler off of a tip. Will Levis has turned the ball over the most in the National Football League. Leads the NFL in 8 turnovers. 5 of them interceptions, 3 of them being fumbles. So there will be tons of opportunity for Miami to get the offense in a good field position, and I need the offense to be able to capitalize on these turnovers and not waste good field position. Might be a low-scoring game, but the difference in this one is likely going to be if Miami can turn over Will Levis and instead of settling for field goals or turning the ball over on downs, actually getting 6 and 7, getting in the pay dirt. 2 more keys to victory coming up, but I got to tell you about one of our new sponsors, and that is Public Rec, an awesome clothing company. I'm so happy they jumped on board. Let's be real, guys. Wearing pants sucks. Who decided that stiff, uncomfortable fabric digging into your family jewels was necessary to go out and look put together? Well, I'm here to tell you that those days are finally over. Public Rec has developed a revolutionary Daymaker pant that feels as comfortable as sweats but looks and fit like tailored pants. You can finally have indoor comfort with outdoor style by wearing Public Rec's Daymaker pants. For a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off their entire order when you use code CHAT at publicrec.com. That's 20% off your order at publicrec.com with promo code CHAT. And they do more than just make those sweet, comfortable pants. Unfortunately, I can't really show you my lower half right now, but I can show you one of their t-shirts. And they have so many different options. Hoodies, polos, button-downs, long sleeves. I am a massive fan. And this long sleeve right here, I can't stop wearing it. It's comfortable. It's that perfect blend of making you feel good, but also being nice and thick and but airy and breathy. I can't get enough of Public Rec, and you need to get started today. Stop the suffering in regular pants. For a limited time, our listeners get 20% off when you use code CHAT at checkout. That's 20% off with the code CHAT at publicrec.com. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Say goodbye to pants that put up a fight, because when comfort meets style, you found Public Rec. Appreciate them for coming on board. Those pants are actually really, really good, guys. I'm not bull crapping you. Go get yours today. All right, as we talk more about Will Levis turning the ball over and stuff like that, the Dolphins need to get a better job of turning their opponents over just regardless. They've played 3 games so far. They only have 3 turnovers, and I don't like that. That needs to be up more. They have 2 interceptions, and they have 1 fumble. The fumble happening against the Jacksonville Jaguars, that punch out by Javon Holland, the recovery in the end zone by Kader Kohou, that saved that game, and arguably could be called a season saver because they could be 0-3 right now if they don't get that fumble. They had the 2 interceptions against Geno Smith last week, and they didn't turn over the Bills and Josh Allen. They have the 13th ranked, turnover defense, 3. So right in that middle, you can suppose, but you got to make it easy for your QB. Like I'll say, as we're filming, we don't officially know who's starting. We have an idea that it's going to be Huntley, but whoever is starting at quarterback for the Miami Dolphins, it'd be nice to get them nice, easy starting field position so they don't have to drive 60, 70 yards every drive. They can only go 30, 40, 20 and go score on a Titans defense that, even though the numbers suggest they're not that good, I think is very talented with guys like L'Jarius Sneed and Jeffrey Simmons. All right, you got to be more disciplined as well. And this one has been something that I've been sitting on for a while because watching that Seattle Seahawks game, I was unbelievably frustrated with the coaching of the Miami Dolphins in terms of how they were disciplining their players because 11 penalties on Miami against Seattle. Now, you could say maybe it's the officials because the Seahawks also had 11 penalties, but I don't care. You have to be more disciplined, and that is on coaching. The Dolphins are 4th in the NFL with 27 penalties. That is averaging 9 a game. That cannot happen. And they are 2nd in the National Football League in penalty yardage with 238. These are not numbers you want to be high on in the National Football League. And specifically going against the Tennessee Titans offense that has really struggled early on. And honestly, not even just the offense, the entire team, they've been bad. You cannot bail them out. You bail out a bad football team on the road, you let them hang around, and they'll snatch a W from you. I'm not going to say the Dolphins are going to go out there and need to play perfect. They don't need to play perfect. But you simply can't go out there and have a pair of holding calls, a pair of pass interference, a roughing the passer. You cannot give up these chunk yardage penalties that bail out the Titans defense, bail out the Titans offense. They are a bad football team. Don't give them any air to breathe because if they do get air to breathe, they might get you with a chokeout. Don't let it happen. All right, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're on the road to 61K. Hit that sub button for daily content, and we'll be live for that game on Monday night against the Tennessee Titans. And I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal. If we can pick up 414 subscribers over the weekend and get to 61K before Monday night's game, I will do a beer boot to open up that game. All right, the last key to victory. Take away Will Levis's first read. And you might be saying, well, how do you know what his first read's going to be? Well, that's where the scouting comes into play. And I'm not sure what the first read is going to be on every play, right? It's hard to do that. But this is an interesting stat that I found online. The Dolphins have allowed successful plays on 77% of pass attempts to the first read this season. That's the worst in the National Football League. On average, 52% success rate to plays on the first read. So what does that tell you? Well, in the passing game, it likely means you're going to have to press up on them because if you're pressed up on them and making the wide receivers uncomfortable, not letting them get open as quicker and like zone coverages, well, that first read might be taken away and you're going to force Will Levis to, well, look around a little bit, and that's where the 5 interceptions come into play. The Dolphins' defense and secondary is going to have to play a good game, and it's not going to be the easiest. We'll be honest here. We're going up against DeAndre Hopkins. We're going up against Calvin Ridley. Sure, the quarterback play stinks, but the wide receiver weapons are pretty solid. I'm going to need Jalen Ramsey to play well. Kendall Fuller, hopefully he plays, but if not, you're likely going to have to turn your eyes to Nick Needham, Ethan Bonner as that opposite boundary corner with Kader Kohu primarily working in the nickel and the slot. These boundary corners are going to have to play good. Jalen Ramsey's been phenomenal according to the PFF grades and the coverage stats. Can we get a second corner to play well? Because you're going to have to against D-Hop and Calvin Ridley. All right, before I give you my official score prediction for this Monday Night Football game, I need to see yours down in the comment section. Predict it, Dolphins versus Titans in Miami. Let me know. All right, my score prediction is a Dolphins win, 17-13. Like I said off the top, over-under's 36.5. That's really low. I think the under will still hit in this one. I think the Dolphins do reach pay dirt twice, Jason Sanders field goal, and they hold on to the Titans who score 1 touchdown and kick a pair of field goals themselves. I think 17-13 is a fair score. That would have Miami covering, and the under if you're a betting person at home. I think it gets it done. I think Tyler Huntley will start this game, and I think he will prove to us and most of the rest of the NFL that he should be the starter for the last 2 games against the Patriots and Colts prior to Tua Tagovailoa being eligible to return in Week 8 against the Arizona Cardinals. All right, that will do it for today's episode. Like I said, make sure you subscribe because we're still dropping daily content leading you up to that game, and we'll also be live for the Monday Night Football game hour before, 7:30 Eastern time, so we'll be live at 6:30. Join us. It's going to be a lot of fun.